The famed saying, "Wait for E3," has led fans along during this long road for Xbox Game Studios to build games. Now, the Xbox Game Showcase has been announced and there are no excuses, nothing held back, and a historic display of what's to come from the big name of Xbox and the mammoth Bethesda. This is what we can expect from the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase for 2022. This is Colteastwood. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the leaked information and games that will be at the game showcase for Xbox and Bethesda. I'll be showing some footage that will illustrate what we haven't seen yet, so if you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel, hit the bell to be notified of new content, and let's look at what's coming June 12th. 2022 is the year, even with major delays, that Xbox will arrive with the promised unique content to drive the platform forward. And in this video we'll show not only what most likely will be in the showcase, but will be shown playable to come in the next year. All information here has been pulled from multiple insider sources, leaks, and data mines. So turn the volume up, settle in, and let's look at what Xbox has in store for the game showcase in June. The first question on everyone's mind right now is, will we see Starfield and Redfall? Reports that Xbox leadership and Bethesda came together a month before the show to make a decision after the Bethesda and Arcane team put together gameplay demos and ran into several visual and playability issues, brought Phil Spencer and Todd Howard to decide on not repeating mistakes of Halo Infinite's first gameplay showing. It's very likely that deep dives and spotlights have been pared down to 1 to 2 minute short gameplay showings of curated footage that will be scrutinized under a microscope. It is believed that Starfield and Redfall will get an in-engine gameplay showing, albeit very brief. One of the planned AAA exclusives is the 5-year awaited Forza Motorsport. Turn 10's lead Chris Sasaki has excited fans for a major update this year, and we are led to believe that Forza Motorsport is ready to be seen, tested, and released for the end of the year. One of the driving factors for the latest Forza sim is advanced physics and next-generation only visuals like in-game ray tracing. If ray tracing is not featured in gameplay, as it was in Horizon 5 and Gran Turismo 7, it will be a red flag for Turn 10. But knowing the tech and the prowess of this team, we can expect to have our cake and eat it too on the track with what will be the best-looking racer only on next-generation consoles and PC. Double Fine has been busy with a multiplayer new IP, but also secretly working on an established franchise under the guise that they would not be reviving anyone else's games. Tim Schafer specifically said he would leave Rare's games to Rare, but leaks have surfaced that say that part of the Double Fine team have been finishing up a next-generation, full remaster of Banjo-Kazooie with overhauled visuals and updated physics and gameplay controls a la Psychonauts 2. Fans have been begging for Banjo, and it looks like he's back. Compulsion Games have been working on their first big game, a dark fantasy RPG, for the better part of 4 or 5 years, and this female-led third-person game is reportedly ready to be shown at the new Xbox event in some fashion. Knowing Compulsion and their over-stylized whimsical art style and their plea to Xbox to provide them with time and funding to go AAA for the first time, we may see a surprise stunner from Compulsion, a studio just finding their niche. Xbox partnered with Avalanche Studios, the team behind the recent Rage 2 and the Just Cause series. Just Cause has become derivative, but since the last one, Avalanche has been building Contraband, a unique heist game set in the 1970s in a fictional region of the archipelago Barren in Southeast Asia, portraying a young group of high-crime thieves planning and executing major robberies with excellent Just Cause-like third-person shooting and getaway driving that pulls from the popular 70s action chase films with big block muscle cars and rampaging chases through small cities and back alleys under an ever-ticking clock in 4-player co-op online that celebrates a time with no phones, no technology, or cameras on every corner that made the thrill of heists possible. Contraband is likely to show gameplay for a release date of 2023. Obsidian has grounded its final release ready for 2022, and this little game will make a big impact with this shock and surprise world. Josh Sawyer is nearing the completion of Project Pentiment, which will take cues from the dialogue-heavy RPGs like Disco Elysium and focus on an investigator in the 16th century Europe who uncovers a gruesome murder. But the real star of the showcase, with Starfield on the delay, is the AAA fantasy RPG Avowed from Obsidian. Reports and leaked gameplay we can't show here illustrated Avowed as a very colorful Skyrim-esque game with a focus on hand-casted Doctor Strange spells and a wonderful tie-in to the Pillars of Eternity universe. Gameplay is expected to be shown, and it is very possible, if a bit unbelievable, that Avowed could be shown and ready for holiday 2022 or early 2023. inXile just released Wasteland for all platforms, and now the team is working on a brand new IP, a AAA first-person steampunk RPG in the vein of classic Fallout that we won't see for a year or more. But according to insiders, inXile has been commissioned to remaster the famed Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas for next generation, all in Unreal Engine 5. We may see a trailer or gameplay for the Fallout remasters to hold us over until Fallout 5 shows up at the end of the generation. Hellblade 2's Senua's Saga from Ninja Theory has been in the works, according to new information, since late 2017. 5 years later, and with most games taking upwards 6 years to complete with global slowdowns, Hellblade 2 may not make an appearance at the Xbox Game Showcase, but actually a couple days earlier at Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. It's time for Xbox to show combat gameplay that has been curated from hand-to-hand training with the Star Wars lightsaber expert. And the real stunner could be that Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga is ready for a release date in December of 2022 or immediately after the holidays. The Coalition is working on Gears 6, but there is a rumor and leak circulating according to Aaron Greenberg's announcement that the Coalition is working on 3 game projects. One is a supposed IP from Marvel or Disney that may have speculated to be either Mandalorian, a third-person action-adventure game, but it could be anything. We just know that it is not a Gears game. The third project is the Xbox-era leaked Gears Marcus Phoenix Collection, fully built in Unreal Engine 5, with ray tracing and improved overhauled visuals for Xbox Series consoles, and finally, all of this on PC. Expect the Coalition to play a major part in the showcase with a possible Gears remaster release date of holiday 2022. Forza Horizon 5 smashed records with well over 12 million playing in the opening month, and the visually unbelievable open-world racer will showcase its first of 2 DLCs. Forza will get a new map area to explore, race, and test your skills. Typically, Playground banks off of a weather-related theme, and with Mexico already seeing massive dust and rainstorms, we can only wonder what the new expansion will be. Our bets are on a massively dormant volcano leading us up to sister mountains in a ring of fire. Playground's other team, the RPG studio working on Fable, is reportedly behind schedule working through their new reimagining of the fantasy series. Leaks and reports have flooded in recently that Fable has been in the works since early 2018, and that gives it well over 4 years in development. The RPG team is fine-tuning the world and mechanics, and Fable is likely set for 2024, 2 years from now, so we can expect Xbox to showcase for the first time an in-engine look of the world, environment, and visuals under the proprietary engine of Forza Tech, taking on an open-world action RPG. Xbox wants us to know that Fable is very much alive, but not quite ready. Machine Games is working on 2 major games, and according to leaked information, both could make an appearance at the Xbox Game Showcase. The famed Lucas Games Indiana Jones action-adventure is well in the works, with enough to show an in-engine trailer or proof of concept, as the game is likely slated for 2023 or 2024. Indiana Jones is also most likely a third-person action-adventure game, despite Machine Games' expertise in first-person shooting mechanics. Indiana Jones is set in 1943, just after the events of the first Raiders of the Lost Ark, in the prime era of his adventures. The other game is Wolfenstein 3, the end of the new trilogy for BJ Blazkowicz after his horrifying transformation into part machine. Wolfenstein 3 will take us into the final push to the end of domination of post-World War II and close out the visceral combat, and according to Bethesda's track record, we could see a gameplay showcase and surprise release for Wolfenstein as early as holiday 2022. One last shock and surprise that insiders are buzzing about is from the first-person pioneers, id. It is reportedly working on the final entry in the new trilogy for the Doom reboot and finding a one-up for the incredibly torturous Doom Eternal. We are unsure if Doom is ready to be shown or even teased. But the curveball for id has insiders sharing info on a full next-generation reboot of the famed Quake. Quake has been in dire need of the Doom and Wolfenstein treatment for modern shooters, and this one has not been vetted, but could likely be a surprise for the Xbox Game Showcase. Games that won't make an appearance are Perfect Dark, Everwild, Elder Scrolls, and State of Decay 3, as some of these studios have publicly run into slowdowns, setbacks, or asked for extra time for development. Looking at what Xbox typically shows, with over 30 games and most of them exclusive to the platform, we can expect to see far more gameplay than normal and more release date windows, even some close to 2022 and early 2023. As the drought of delays comes to an end this year, expect massive surprises and a couple of new game announcements outside of what the experts have leaked or data mined. Either way, after an excellent start for Xbox this generation and a very underwhelming 2022 so far, there is a lot to look forward to for Xbox in the coming months, and an incredible roadmap of games that will make a historic impact not just for Xbox, but for pushing all platforms to bring us more games that we can play. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. There were a ton of games, a ton that I couldn't even show or talk about or didn't even bother. A lot of little games, some that may be delayed, some that are huge and yet to be revealed. And of course, one of the most exciting things about this showcase and predicting what's coming is Xbox has quite a few games that are not even materialized, have not been leaked, we don't know exist, that will be big surprises for the show. But most of all, I think we'll get massive clarity about how they're going to fix the Xbox Game Pass situation at the end of 2022 and what we'll be playing that is unique to the content very, very soon. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. And if you want to further support the work that we do here on the Colteastwood channel, you can do that by hitting the join button below. Also, you can join the Patreon, and either of those will get you entered into monthly giveaways and early access for videos. If you want to hear more in-depth details about the games that we talked about today, you can check out the X&C podcast. That is a weekly podcast I run here on the show with my co-host Gaz from Game On Daily. Also, I'm looking forward to making a cameo in his next video. That might already be out, so go check out the channel. But I want to know what you think about some of the curveballs that Xbox is showing and what you think about things like Fallout Remaster, Gears Remaster, and many of these other things that we already have. But let me know what you're most excited about in the comments. And while you do that, please remember, be nice.